Welcome to Bitter Coffee. I'm Kelly Coffee.
I'm Margo Batesy.
Margo Batesy, how are you?
Good, Kelly Coffee. How are you?
Happy Saturday morning to you.
I know it's a dreary morning here in the greater Burlington area.
I have all of my curtains shut in my apartment.
You should.
I know.
It's dark and rainy and kind of snowing up here in magical Jericho.
It's snowing up there?
Like kind of. It's like rain snowing.
Okay. Is it what they call in the weather world? Is it a mixed bag?
It is. It's like a sleety flush sort of weird thing. Yeah.
Kind of
mixed precipitation.
I see. All right. I'm sorry?
Mixed precip.
Is that
I think that's the official weather word. Meteorology. Can't even say it. So clearly I didn't go to school to do it.
That's why I use the word weather. I just completely sidestepped meteorology. There we go. I have to say it really. I know. I'm pretty excited.
Slow and steady.
Right. That's it. That's what wins the race. So here we are. It's a Saturday, and Margo and I were just discussing just a few moments ago, and I'm going to put this question out on the socials. Mm-hmm. If those who are listening would prefer to have longer shows less frequently or shorter shows more frequently. Maybe some people will say shorter shows less frequently. That's fine. And you know who that person is? It's the person who, and I don't want to get into it because I have I've narrowed it down to like one of 17 people this could possibly be. Bitter Coffee.
Something?
No, we got a 2-star rating.
What?
Yeah.
Who takes the time to tell us we're subpar? Just don't say anything.
Just keep on scrolling. Just
keep on moving.
Yeah, just go over to My Favorite Murder and have a nice day. Yeah, somebody gave us a 2-star rating. And although I can't see who it is because they didn't leave an actual review, because I can just see that there's a 2-star rating. And they didn't have the balls to say like, oh, I think your show sucks and you suck and everything sucks and screw Bitter Coffee and whatever else. It's fine. I hate you. It's fine. So there's that. We can talk about who I think it is off mic.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I have a pretty good idea. But I think that kind of plays into my whole, and you know this, and I think anybody who's been around me for the past, I'm going to say week, maybe 10 days. And Margo, correct me if I'm not exactly right on the dates. I think for the past week or so, I've had some of that, I want to speak to the manager energy, not really sure where it's coming from. Right. I'm aware of it, so it's not like, no, you're fine, everything's cool. I don't think I'm alone in having that feeling. I've had this. I've been on edge lately, and believe it or not, I'm more quick to judge people, which is really strange. Yeah, like not at work, but like in my personal life, I'm a bit more like eye rolly. And if somebody doesn't answer my question exactly how I want it answered, I'll just ask the question again. Maybe a couple times, right, Margo?
I mean, I'm not going to really comment on that, but I may or may not know what you're talking about. So as our listeners know, Kelly and I talk on the regular, probably every day. And yeah, I've definitely been picking up on that. But in our true style of our friendship, I just kind of know what's happening and just move forward.
Yep. Yeah. So I appreciate that. I really do. Yeah. So, but I don't think I'm not making an excuse.
I don't think you're alone. I don't think you're alone in that energy right now. I think a lot of people are feeling that way. And I know that at work in particular, since I spend 2/3 of my life there. I'm shutting my door more. I'm just like, I just can't like deal with everything all at once. It's very much like one task at a time, or I get very like, I need to get to the bottom of this, you know.
Yep.
Which is not helpful to anyone. And for those that I realize this is just audio, I was really doing like a finger point, like a really like face. So yeah.
I can vouch for that. You were.
Yes.
I would say like shaking a fist towards an angry God. Right?
Oh, for sure. I mean, not that you and I don't do that on the regular. I mean, generally, you know, we're always cursing someone, something, Steve Jobs, like, you know, the cold dead hand.
The Real Housewives franchise.
Correct. Oh my God. Speaking of Real Housewives. So I had a happy hour on Zoom with my female cousins last night. There's a whole gaggle of us, but a couple weren't able to make it last night. But there was like 9 of us on the call. And our one cousin's getting married in March. This poor wedding has been put off due to COVID. And so she showed us her dress on the Zoom. And our other cousin was like, Bethany Frankel wore that dress in the season 10 Real Housewives. Like whenever they do, what do they do? Like a recap or like like the end of the season, they do a show. And they all come and they look really glamorous. And Andy Cohen interviews them.
It's the reunion. Yeah.
Show. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. And yeah, so my cousin Jenna is wearing a dress that Bethany Frankel, not the exact dress, she bought a new one herself. But I just thought it was hilarious that was immediately our other cousin Kelsey was like, you wore that in the season 10, blah, 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 blah. It was hilarious.
Couple things about that though. How impressed am I that she just had that like in her memory bank? And that's literally amazing.
Like she knew, and she actually said it's by, and whatever the designer was,
man,
she knew. It's amazing. I mean, I obviously come from very intelligent stock, so you know my cousins would be the same.
Sure.
And deep knowledge of all things Bravo sphere, I think many of them. So it was a funny moment.
That's pretty impressive. I mean, yeah. I pride myself on knowing a lot of things about absolutely nothing, but that's
kind of a new level.
Yeah, that's wow. Okay. We should get her on the show. I thought you would appreciate it.
I know how much you love the skinny girl herself.
I do. I would say that Bethany Frankel is my spirit animal, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Feels like it.
It in pandemic, I feel like.
Didn't she? Well, she almost died, right?
She did. She had a bad reaction to something. Yeah. And I think she broke up with her partner.
Oh.
The guy she was dating. Yeah. So maybe she's just, you know, having an introspective moment.
The guy from Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, she can do whatever she wants. I adore her.
I don't think you were zigging and zagging in that direction, and I just took us down like a really ridiculous road. But there you have it.
I enjoyed the journey. Make no mistake. You really did. And I was talking to our mutual friend, Sam, who's going to be on the show soon. Yeah. I'm thinking maybe next week, have her on.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of a primer. And she was concerned because she's not sure. She admitted that she doesn't know a lot about TV, like not as much as you. But
okay.
She's more of a movie person.
Mm-hmm.
I am not.
Correct. Although you know a lot about movies, you just maybe haven't seen them all.
Right.
And which is similar to my TV knowledge. I don't watch The Housewives, to be clear.
No, but I mean, again, I want to welcome you into the Bravo family because there's nothing that I've said about any Bravo show and you have no idea what I'm talking about. So I feel like you've watched the shows. It doesn't matter. No. Can we not fight?
You're not fighting.
Let's just have a nice day. Let's just have a nice Saturday morning together.
Saturday.
I'm having tea. Oh, that's what I've done. I've quit coffee,
and it's been successful.
It has. I'm not going to lie. I've had. I sometimes have a cup of coffee on a Saturday morning. Just because. So it's more of like, I don't know. I appreciate the whole ritual of coffee, but I wanted to start drinking tea.
It's fine.
Maybe not the best time to, switch out of ice. I mean, caffeine is caffeine.
I was going to say, I mean, just to be clear, you're not drinking like herbal tea exclusively. Like you're drinking caffeinated tea. So you're not giving up caffeine.
No, I'm drinking caffeinated tea, but I'm limiting it to 1 cup. And then after that, I go to non-caffeinated tea. But I figured like I needed something to focus on. And that just seemed like a kind of a challenging thing to focus on. And I know a lot of, go ahead.
I've given coffee up here and there various different times.
And how'd you feel? I didn't get a headache or anything.
I've always gotten a really bad headache for a few days.
Perfect.
I've done it a few times during Lent. I've given coffee up for Lent, which in the past few years I've just been giving up social media. But
it's probably not a bad idea, right?
Probably should give it all up, but
I think everybody needs some kind of. I don't want to say vice. Some kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like a thing that you do when you just want to, kind of take a deep breath and maybe not focus on how incredibly horrible the world is these days. I appreciate a dry January. And I mean, I don't know if a lot of people, I'm still on a dry January.
I am too.
See, there you go. Was it intentional? Because a lot of people are like, oh, I forgot to start drinking or, whatever it was.
I just feel like I might have been on a dry December too. Like I can't remember the last time I drank.
It's probably because you were drunk, right?
Probably. Well, I was saying to someone at one of the 10,000 medical appointments I now go to, that for me, alcohol is really, and you know this because when pre-pandemic, you and I, what was our favorite thing to do? Go out to a nice dinner. We loved let's meet downtown, go to a nice dinner, have a glass of wine, have a cocktail. That's when I want to have a drink. I like the ritual of that. I love going into a restaurant and saying to the waitress, ask the bartender to make me something fruity, something sweet and sour, or whatever it is that I'm feeling, or I'm feeling like a wine that's going to go amazing with my meal. Could you pick one for me?
Yeah, you do that.
I love having people who are experts in it give you their recommendations. Because I've found the greatest drinks that way. The best bottles of wine have been suggested by someone in a restaurant who those folks really know their stuff. So, and I'm, me, I'm never afraid to say I don't know something. So I'm happy to walk in and be like, I don't know anything.
Right.
The way. But that's really how I enjoy a drink. So drinking at home, I don't know, just not my bag.
It's not really. It's not really a lot of fun. And I think, and I don't think I'm going out on a limb. I think that you and I are probably the only 2 people in the state of Vermont that don't smoke pot.
I think we might be.
Right?
I know.
And it's fine. And it's funny. You reminded me of it when you said sometimes you like going into a restaurant or bar and saying, make me something this. Now, there's a whole culture behind marijuana now. And you can go to a dispensary and say I need something that's going to help me sleep or eat or help me with my migraines or, whatever it is. So, I mean, it's kind of interesting that not that marijuana is taking over for alcohol. I'm not saying that. Oop, I just threw up a little bit. But it just, I don't know. It seems like they're, I don't know.
It is certainly a culture, and now that it's legal in Vermont and we have dispensaries, I think you're right. I mean, it's sort of people go and get it for all sorts of different reasons, which is great. I'm, bully for them. It's just never something that's. I'm horrible when I smoke pot, so
it's not my thing. I tried it like when I was younger. And I got super paranoid. Like I can't see myself like if I want to relax or if I'm stressed out or, just edgy and cranky the way I have been lately. I can't see myself saying like, oh, I'll have one marijuana and feel better.
I don't think that's what they call it, but I don't know, maybe.
Is it
one marijuana?
Right. Or Papa Mary J.
I don't know. I don't know what the kids say. I don't. No, I don't. I'm just out. It's outside my sphere.
Yeah, it's fine. Well, obviously, I don't know the vernacular.
No. But that's okay.
It's fine. It's totally fine.
Good. But it is interesting, like everybody. And like since I've been suffering with all this hip pain, everyone wants me to use CBD and all sorts of different things. Which is great. But ultimately that's not going to fix what's wrong with me. And I'm generally more of like I like to get to the root cause of something. So, yeah.
Like say if you have hip pain and you realize that your hip needs to be replaced,
you get that scheduled.
A couple of Tylenol isn't really it's not going to fix the problem.
No. It's just kind of hold me over till I can get there. That's my goal now. Next 2 weeks, I got to stay healthy and uninjured. So feels like a tall order for me, but
welcome to my world, right?
No,
yeah, I know.
I'm fumbly at best. I would argue not as fumbly as you. Since sometimes you call me and are like, I don't know how I did it, but my hands are all cut up. Like, I love that you don't even know the mechanism of injury. You're
no idea.
I don't know. I just like, there's blood and like, I don't know.
Like I'm walking from work and I'm like, why is there blood all over the doorknob and the door? It's because I somehow cut myself between like the car and the front door.
Right. The 8 steps that get there and you have no idea how because you have nothing in your hands.
No idea. No, I have like my bag. Right. Yeah. And that's it. That's it. I have a mug and it happens all the time. And I'll have like, well, the other day, one of my fingernails split, but it split vertically.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that happened.
You're washing your hands so much and dry.
Is that what it is?
I think so. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm like spend half my day washing my hands, I feel like.
Well, yeah, but I figured by now my body would be used to it.
I don't think it ever is. But it's so cold and
yeah, that's a good point.
I know my nails are a mess too, but splitting and catching on everything.
Oh, it's the worst. Oh, no, it's fine. You want to know how I found out that I had split this fingernail? It got caught in my hair in the shower. And I just, now if there's ever a time where I'm going to have a marijuana, that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
I could see you just being like, that's it. Like, I'm calling it like it's a day at that point.
It's 2:45 in the morning. I'm getting ready for work and I'm calling out because I have a hangnail essentially. Yeah.
And I think everybody who knows you would be like, yes, that makes sense.
Wait, suggesting what?
Just that can just derail a gal.
Okay. I thought you were saying like something so minimal would be like, yeah, I can't go to work.
No.
Okay.
No. Okay. It just sends you off a wrong path, you know?
Yeah. Maybe that's what started the
funk.
Yeah. This negative vibe that I have.
Argue the storming of our nation's capital. I mean, there's been other world events that may play into this heavy feeling, I think.
Yeah, you're right. It's probably not just the weird nail.
No, I think it's more. I mean, I know a lot of people are dealing with it. I think it manifests itself in differently to different people, but it's a lot. We're all holding our cumulative breaths to see if we can make it over the finish line of the 20th, and and then what's going to happen. But
and I think, that's kind of my question. Like, okay, so the 20th is here and then it's gone, and what do we do?
I don't know.
I don't think there's going to be like a big reset. And I don't, although I feel kind of a responsibility to do so, I don't feel that I'm emotionally equipped to go down that rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah.
I agree. I think
it's too much. Oh, you know what I want to talk about?
Tell me.
And I think it's I know it's definitely because my job right now, like I screen people into the hospital, like mostly employees,
right.
But patients and visitors when we allow visitors, and we currently don't. I didn't even know that it existed. And I was talking to my coworker, Will, and he and I spent a heck of a lot of time Googling this. And I'm just going to jump right into it. Canada goose coats. I didn't even know it was a thing.
Yes, it is a thing.
Can we break it down a little bit? Because I have a lot of questions.
Okay.
I guessed because I like the look of the coat, but then I learned some things, and it's obviously not a coat I'm going to get.
No.
And I assumed they'd be maybe $400. Maybe.
Right.
I clearly mismanaged my thoughts. They're like a couple $1,000s.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. Sort of the Shelburne parka is about $1,000. I think they've got some special that's probably the one when you say Canada Goose, that's what people are thinking of, the Shelburne parka. That's the one with the goose down, which is literally plucked from geese, and the animal fur hood trim. It's a horrible thing. Okay, I'm seeing one 1,100. It could just go up from there, I'm pretty sure. It's a whole thing.
And they have hats, and their hats are $175.
What are the hats made of? Spun gold? I don't know.
I mean, I guess we can Google that.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
It just seems like an enormous amount of money for something you're going to wear. Well, in Vermont, you wear it, 10 and a half months out of the year?
True, but
roughly.
As I was telling you before we got on, before we started recording, I got a really cute new coat, and I got it on 60% off from Land's End, and it's lovely. It was under $100.
See, there you go. It's the little things.
So cute. I was also telling you that my daughter Mary, so she's really, I'd say a pretty big advocate for the environment and animals and things. And so she's vehemently against Canada Goose jackets. She actually had a little mini intervention in her dorm with a girl who was considering buying one.
Ooh. Can we break that down a little bit?
Yeah. This girl that she knows was saying, she asked Mary, oh, I like your jacket. And Mary has a Patagonian or something like that. And she's like, but I think I'm going to get that Canada Goose one. And they go to school in upstate New York. It's practically Canada. Freezing. And Mary was like, listen, I just need to tell you a couple of things. And she explained about the goose down and how you actually get that, which leads to the slaughter of geese. And the animal fur that they use. And so Mary showed her 5 other options that were a fraction of the price, with less sort of environmental impact. But I guess they don't have the trendy patch on the sleeve. So I think that's what people are wanting.
So that's the draw, is so
everybody knows you have it.
The label.
Correct.
But at what cost to, yeah, okay. I mean,
Yeah. It's a weird thing. I'm surprised you hadn't known about them before.
no, I mean,
A lot of people wear them here.
I try and not pay a lot of attention to a lot of things.
True. Yeah,
And
makes sense.
And when, I mean, I don't really see, well, that's wrong. I was going to say I don't really see people when they're wearing coats.
Now you do.
But now I do. And I think it's a higher concentration of people that I see each day wearing coats.
True.
But it's a thing. And it surprised me that something like that is actually a status symbol. And you'd think that just the opposite would be true. But nope, I guess, again, thought mismanagement on my part. So if you're wearing one of those coats and you want to send an email to bittercoffeepod@gmail.com, not judging you, I'm just curious as to what the thought process was behind buying a very expensive coat that, I don't know, whatever, it's fine. Say, this is what I have to focus on to get through the day. And this is when I have these moments where I'm like, I'm going to sell everything and I'm going to move away and I'm going to go, I guess I would have to have one built or I'd have to buy one first, a tiny house. You and I have talked about a tiny house. I can
actually see you living in a tiny house.
But like a nice tiny house, not just
like a super fancy tiny house for sure. And I also see, in my vision of your life, which I know you're so interested in, is you and your amazing wife having tiny houses next to each other.
Yeah. I mean, and most of you do know, but those of you who don't know, Michelle and I live in the same building, but we live in separate apartments and it works. I love saying like, hey, I'm going over to my wife's apartment for dinner. Like there's something about it I appreciate. And to be honest, it has saved our marriage. Mm-hmm. I also think that when I say tiny house, people think like, oh, you're going to live in a shed. Like,
no.
Okay.
Have you seen those tiny house shows?
I haven't.
You should watch Tiny House Nation. It's amazing.
There's a nation?
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
Okay.
I mean, they're fabulous. Some of them are so cool. The one thing I don't like about tiny houses, but I think you could get around this. I think you could have one designed where this wasn't the thing, is often your sleeping space is up a ladder or a set of stairs, like in a small loft. That feels very stressful to me.
Because
close to the ceiling.
Yeah.
Not like a lot of space.
Okay.
I mean, I guess some ways it feels kind of cozy. But I don't know. I think I'd have to really get in there with the designer and try it out before I gave my seal of approval.
I mean, could you have, well, yeah. All right. I'm thinking out loud now. I think we're spitballing now. Feels like it.
Basically. Yeah.
Could you
sketch that out to?
Oh man. I have a pencil. I mean, it's a mechanical pencil. So, basically I have all the tools I need. So we're good. Mm-hmm. Could I have the bedroom downstairs and then like a sitting area upstairs? I don't know.
Maybe.
Like, I don't want to sleep somewhere where if I put my arms up over my head, I'm going to hit a ceiling. I'll lose my mind.
Yeah, I think I couldn't see you doing that. I think you could. I think you could have like a relaxation area up there. You could maybe you crawl up there and watch a show. I don't know. Something like that. I think you could make it any way you wanted, but
I mean, I'm 5'2". It's not like I need 12-foot ceilings.
No, you don't.
Right?
But I do see you needing a lot of light. You would need to be a lot of windows, a lot of natural light.
Yeah.
And then the hammock outside.
You're not wrong. There's the plumbing issue.
Kidding pool. The kiddie pool. Oh no, they have like compostable toilets, and I don't know. It's a whole thing.
I'm going to have to look into this. And
I'm telling you.
As one of my friends said to me recently, I could rent it out or whatever as an Airbnb. And to quote my friend, make money while I sleep.
Wow.
Right. But then you always have somebody who's going to like trash it or like, I don't know, pee somewhere that's weird. You know what I mean? Or there's going to be that weird smell that you could never really find, although you know it's there. And I don't know. But I mean, I think the more society tends to just kind of crumble, the more I'm willing to explore the option of a tiny house.
I really love the idea of a tiny house for a lot of people because it may free you up to be able to do all the things that you want to do. And, you know, you have a tinier space. It's going to cost less ultimately over time. And it's also mobile. I mean, they don't need to be mobile, but they can be. So, you know, oh, you want to go move and live there. So you find a little place where you can, you know, hook up your tiny house and now you live there.
So you could like drive them around?
Some of them are built on trailers.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm going to have to look into this.
Yeah.
Because there's I mean, don't get me wrong. I love where I live. And during the warmer months, I really love my backyard.
Mm-hmm.
But we have neighbors on either side and they're both lovely. But I feel I've kind of reached a point in my life where I just need a higher fence.
Yep.
I don't, you know what I mean? Not that I need privacy. Like, what am I doing? I'm laying in a hammock like a sloth.
No, but I know what you mean. I mean, you know, my backyard's basically the woods. And I love it. I love that you can't see anybody. I go on my back deck and it's like a calm app. I mean, there's like a brook babbling and some birds tweeting, and that's basically what I hear. So
you get like a random turkey just kind of taking a stroll.
Was 7 this morning. Yeah.
Is that some kind of omen? Do you know?
I don't know. I haven't looked it up, but last weekend we had 40 in our yard.
Were they social distancing?
No, they weren't. They just travel really close to each other. I don't know, but my husband was really excited. Yeah, I will. I should look that up. Like, what does a turkey coming to your yard mean?
Yeah, it's got to mean something, right? It has to. I love the fact that, and this is just, it's such a Batesy thing. And I didn't make it clear last episode, but the home that you bought, that you just bought, what, like a month ago ish, 3 weeks ago, is the home that you were renting for a lot of years. So you moved, but you didn't have, like, you own your home, but you didn't have to move. Like, that's the way to do it. It was like a try and buy.
It was the most amazing closing. I mean, we've only purchased 2 other homes in our married life, but you know, it was always so much stress of packing up and getting over there and the new house and the work that had to get done before you could move in. And this, like, we closed in our kitchen, we made coffee for everyone, we wore our masks, we stayed really far apart from each other, and the people that we bought our house from brought us flowers, which was so lovely because they're amazing. But just to go back to our last question, because I just Googled it. The turkey spirit animal is a symbol of abundance. It is an encouragement to celebrate your resources that nourish your physical, emotional, and spiritual aspects. The turkey spirit animal highlights the real meaning of giving and receiving and harvesting rewards of your good deeds. I love this.
Is that like, wow. Okay. All right. That's a good sign for 2021.
Warm, like, and nice inside.
Yeah. There you go.
Thanks for telling me to Google that, friend.
No problem. There you go. I always think that everything has some kind of meaning.
I agree. I'm sort of the person who's always like, wait, my left hand's itching. What does that mean? You know?
Oh, it means that you're going to find money.
Yeah. Right. And what does it? The right hand means I'm going to lose it.
No, I think the left hand means you're going to lose it.
Yeah, I don't know. One or the other.
I don't know.
I'm always that person like, my left toe, it's tingling. Probably just means I had too much refined sugar that day, but
could be. Or
my ear, I'm always going to become diabetic.
What's that?
I'm so afraid I'm going to become diabetic. I'm so worried.
Because
there's
a genetic link, right?
No, I had diabetes with the girls.
Oh.
So I had gestational.
Okay.
I'm just always really, really worried that that's going to happen. Although there's no indication in my labs and my health that that's a problem for me. So welcome to Town.
I think it's kind of nice to have something to worry about and focus on, despite how people are like, oh, you just need to relax and let it go. No, like I feel weird when I don't have something that I need to focus on, to the point where, not that it keeps me up at night, but it's a good distraction sometimes.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
So yeah, it's just something, it's something that's always a little bit in the back of my mind, and
right.
I gotta worry about something. So.
Well, yeah, and I think worrying about things that are not like outside our doors is sometimes healthy. Again, given how horrific everything is right now.
Right.
And I don't know. I think worrying about stuff and having something to focus on that may or may not be remedied by kind of ruminating about it is better than. And I just learned this recently, like Martha Stewart can deliver wine to your house now. Like I fear that that's where people are. Yeah. There's like I was on Instacart ordering my groceries because I don't want to go to the grocery store because, pandemic. And there was an option for wine, and Martha Stewart has this line of wines that you can buy. And I have a lot of issues with it. One of the issues is that because of course I looked into it, the least you can buy is like 3 bottles, which just doesn't, you know what I mean? Like the whole, I'm probably going to piss off some people, but okay, what else is new? That whole like wine mommy culture.
You and I have talked about this before.
I don't understand it.
I have really similar feelings. Like I do get bothered by, like cups that say like mommy's juice, and it's like a wine glass.
Yeah.
Like it's really, and I mean, in full disclosure, my mom is a recovering alcoholic. She has been for 35 years. So recovery has been part of my life since I was like 12. But I just feel like, we're not helping anybody we got to teach our kids really good boundaries and what it is and how, that it's not juice. It's not a joke. It's not funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Certainly it's, I love a great glass of wine or a great bottle of wine. I love to have Prosecco. I don't like champagne, but I like Prosecco for, a fun occasion. You and I have certainly had some really hilarious nights out. But it's just something that I worry too. I worry about people getting it delivered. And I, in fact, in the beginning of the pandemic, felt like I was drinking too much. And for me, that was like 1 glass every night.
Right.
That felt like too much for me personally. Everyone's got their own thing. But yeah, I agree. How easy is it when you can just get everything delivered to your house?
Right. I mean, I think some things being delivered are out of necessity, like groceries, but it's a pretty slippery slope when, I don't know, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
It seems odd. And given everything that's happened over the past 11 months, it just concerns me that some people are like, oh, I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
Having someone who had a parent who died of alcoholism rather young, I don't know. It kind of scares me that it's so easy to just, I don't know, kind of take that turn and have things go kind of dark, which sadly was not the point of doing a podcast on a Saturday morning. No, it's totally my fault.
Go there, but it's like we said before, it's a difficult time right now, and I think that it, for you and I, we've got we laugh through the dark parts. That's kind of what you have to do.
Yeah, I think for some folks it gets kind of challenging to do so. And, at the risk of sounding like a jerk, and I say this, I think sometimes too frequently, like it's okay to not feel okay. It's okay to just have like a really crappy day and say like, I I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to handle this.
Yes.
And yeah.
No, it's incredibly okay to be that, to do that.
Yeah.
I think it's actually incredibly brave and important for more people to say that. But
I guess we're basically psychologists now. That's what it feels like.
I feel like maybe extra
Right?
letters are at the end of my name at this point, but I don't know.
Yeah. Feels like it, right? It's fine. We'll get. Well, they took Middlebury College took away Giuliani's honorary degree, thankfully. So maybe we can we can grab it. Just pick it up. Yeah, just pick it up. Geez, man, after all that was a weird turn we took. I don't know how the hell I'm gonna talk about the Bee Gees documentary after all that.
How are we not going to talk about the Bee Gees documentary? Because you and I are obsessed.
Okay, Margo Batesy,
break it
once again. Down. Let's break it down.
Oh,
so I thought the Bee Gees were like these like happy brothers who like Robert Stigwood called them up and was like, "Hey, can you do the soundtrack for this movie that I'm making that doesn't really have a budget?" Wrong. My God.
Run, don't walk to your TV sets to watch this documentary.
It's so good. I learned so much. And Barry Gibb is he's the last Gibb standing, right?
He is.
He's really dealt with a lot of shit in his day.
It was interesting because when they were showing him in his like current day interviews, I was like, wait, which one is he again? Like, because they all kind of like start to look really similar. I mean, they already looked really similar. I don't know. It was, but he's buried 3 brothers.
Yeah. And his parents.
I know.
Well, because he's older, but still, like, I think like one of the opening lines was the documentary was like, well, life's really different when everybody that you know is dead. Like, I'm paraphrasing, but it was like, he's dealt with so much loss. And I honestly thought that, not that they're a one-hit wonder. I'm not suggesting that at all, but I think they had an era. And I really thought that like the songs were based on the movie.
Oh, really?
Well, not that based on, but I thought that they wrote those songs for the movie because it's difficult for me to think, oh, these songs were written years before this movie was even written, and they just fit so well into the film itself.
Right.
I was really surprised that I watched it. And you know me, I tend to watch part of a movie and I get up and I walk away, or I'll have a nap. And or a snack, and then I'm doing a load of laundry, and then that leads to, I should probably vacuum really quickly, and then maybe have another nap, and then call it a day. This documentary, I watched it in one sitting, which is something that I never do, and cried like a brand new baby through, I'd say 85 to 90% of it.
It was really interesting. I didn't know their whole early story, like that they were basically famous in Australia and like all of those pieces. And I don't know. It was
no idea.
Yeah.
I just thought they were part of the disco era, and nope.
Like they kind of like sprung up at Saturday Night Fever, but no, they'd been working for like 15, 20 years at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
And
seasoned musicians,
And the fact that 2 of the brothers, when they sing together, creates a voice, which I thought was just one brother singing by himself. Like it, you know what?
But they're twins, right? Those 2 brothers.
I think Morris and Robin are twins, right?
Yeah.
Little known fact, here's some Kelly Coffee trivia. I was a huge Andy Gibb fan.
Were you?
Oh my God. Yeah. If I wasn't shadow dancing, I wasn't doing anything.
That's amazing.
Oh man. I was like, I didn't go the route of like Leif Garrett or Scott Baio.
Yeah.
Dick. I was all in with Andy Gibb, and then took a weird turn and got into this pretty heavy Elton John phase.
That's never a weird turn. I'm obsessed with the man.
Still?
Okay. Madman Across the Water is my favorite album.
Oh my God. Seriously? You read my mind. Margo Basie, quit stealing my thoughts. It's
genius.
From beginning to end. There's not a bad song.
Not a wrong note.
No, it's fantastic. I can tell you a story about that record. That's right. I said record because
what it is.
It is a record. I would go with my parents every other Friday, I guess because it was payday, to this farmer's market. Like I would go to my grandmother's after school, and then my parents would pick me up, and we'd go to this farmer's market that was near our house. And it was kind of a thing, and it was huge. Well, I remember it being like, I could never get from like one end to the other, but I don't really know. I remember like dogs that we had when I was younger being enormous, and they were like schnauzers, but whatever. Right. So it was this endless farmer's market. And I remember as a kid going to this record store part of the farmer's market and finding a copy of Madman Across the Water. And you'd think that I had just like found the Holy Grail. I lost my mind. And I remember my dad gave me this weird look, like, what's wrong with you? But in a way that was like, oh, she gets it. Because there was always music playing in our house when we were kids. And I don't know, it just, there's something about that record that if anybody fights me on it and says that it's not a good record, then stop listening. And,
talk to you.
No, give me another 2-star rating. So you can do that. It's probably,
if you went into my Spotify right this minute, it's like on constant repeat.
That album specifically.
And I tend to listen to it as an album.
Well, yeah, you have to.
Yeah. Which I don't do that to much music anymore because, generally I am listening on Spotify. I'm sort of plucking out songs that I want to hear and then listening to playlists that they're dictating for me. But that's one of the albums. Also, strangely, the soundtrack to Pride and Prejudice, which I listen to at work all the time.
But that's your go-to jam in the office, right?
It is. I love that instrumental music. I love it. I listen to it on repeat often.
Do you know who the composer is?
I think it's actually like a real soundtrack. I think it's a mixture.
Oh, okay.
But it's like a mixture of, I will tell you right now, because here it is, soundtrack. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm wrong. Dario Marinelli and Jean-Yves Thibault. So
okay,
that's it. Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard of them, but
I mean, as per usual, I really try and incorporate some learning into each of our episodes, and here we are.
Dario.
Once again.
My Spotify does think I'm, kind of loony, because I bounce between, soundtracks for Pride and Prejudice and 70s rock, but that's where I'm at.
It kind of makes sense, right? But you're more like a 70s, like not like a Skinnerd kind of Zeppelin, but more like an Elton John. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, I don't see you listening to Leonard Skinnerd. I don't see any, I don't want to get into it. Right?
I do like Leonard Skinnerd a little bit. I'm actually more of like a California 70s rock.
Okay. Like an Eagles.
Yeah.
Like
Laurel Canyon, Eagles, Crosby, Stills, Nash, throwing some Neil Young, some Joni Mitchell, Linda Ronstadt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Definitely the Grateful Dead. They kind of popped down to LA. They're influential. Yeah, just all those. Actually, interestingly, like the Monkees were part of that group. The Beach Boys were a little bit part of that group too. You should watch the documentary Laurel Canyon.
Writing that down right now.
It's really good.
Does that have Frances McDormand in it?
There's a couple of Laurel Canyon documentaries, so I think it might.
Oh, this is a documentary?
There is a documentary. Mm-hmm.
But it is what you're talking about, a documentary?
Yes.
This is probably why I don't watch a lot of movies, because I never know what the hell anybody's talking about.
There's one called, I think it's like Echoes in the Canyon. I don't know. I'll send you the names.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm prepared.
No, you know what? I think you and I have, we planned doing this podcast. Like, I'm going to throw out a producer term on the fly.
Well, generally, yeah. That's their style. You always want to give me the rundown. I'm like, let's just go. Let's talk.
Because, and people who know me know this, I will have like a very specific list of things that I want to talk about, and I'll get to maybe 2 of them.
Right.
And then I cross them off the list, and then I hope against hope that maybe we'll get to them next time. And I think the things that you and I have talked about over the last 3 shows, I've had written down for about 9 months. So, I mean, it all, it's all a process. And speaking of episodes, how many more episodes do you think, not to put you on the spot or anything, Batesy, how many more episodes do you think you can do before you go and have hip surgery? I'm dovetailing into your hip surgery because we're getting close, right? We're getting super close.
Next weekend, friend.
Wow.
That's it.
Now, are you going to...
Oh, maybe 2 more weekends.
Well, I want you to take that last weekend to kind of do your thing,
I'm not sure. There's going to be a couple of things I'm going to have to probably do that last weekend. Like, I think I'm going to have to go get my COVID test and all of those things. And you're right. I probably am going to have a lot of things. I'm feeling, I think you know this because we've talked about it a lot, but I'm feeling like I've got to get stuff at my house really organized and kind of on my game. So as part of that, this afternoon, I'm cleaning my pantry.
Now you're just kind of bragging.
I know.
Now, are you going to do are you throwing stuff out?
Yeah. I'm going to go through, I'm going to take everything out. I'm going to organize it. I'm going to get rid of stuff that's, I'm sure there's stuff up there that is, expired, like old, just make sure everything's organized. I don't know. I might order some bins on Amazon just to organize even further.
Who doesn't love a bin?
Might order a label maker. I don't know.
Oh, whoa. Okay. I mean, this sounds like this is a project.
I don't need to flex too hard because I know how you love a bin.
I do love a bin. I have no doubt in my mind that things are going to go smoothly with your surgery. But I will say this, I have only myself to blame. I Googled the surgery. Ooh. Yeah, I don't.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Mm-mm.
No, well, here's the thing. I Googled it and I watched it for like maybe 30 seconds, and it was like a cartoon version. It was more like it was instructional. It wasn't like an actual person. But still, I just had to like close the laptop and,
Yeah. So I've told you I've taken all my pre-surgery education. So there's a bunch of videos I needed to watch. And it does explain it. I think I understand the mechanics of what's going to happen. But, I'm just really sticking to what my surgical team gives me. I'm not branching out. I'm not doing any Googling. That doesn't seem helpful at this point. Yeah. And it's
going to be fine.
Got to take the jump,
That's it. Cause you can't jump right now because you've got a bum hip. Yeah. It's going to be exciting. I'm excited. There's going to be some healing involved.
They tell me I'm going to actually be actively healing for a year.
A year. Wow. But yeah.
I mean, hopefully it's what they also say is that the arthritic pain that I'm in now the healing pain that I'm going to have to go through is way different and really much more manageable.
Is your hair getting really long?
I got a hair.
Sorry. It looks sorry. I don't want to switch topics. And those of you who are listening to this, you don't have the luxury of having the video. It looks really long. It looks really good.
I'm leaving it a little bit longer. I always leave it a little bit longer in the winter for like a hat situation.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't cut my bangs real short now, so they're just a little bit like little bit in the front.
Looks good.
So that I could put a hat on and they don't get totally messed up. I was also thinking about, this next month of February that I'm going to be just hopefully getting better.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I lost your audio for a second. I still can't hear you. Nope. Totally lost your audio. Nope. There you are. Hi. What happened? Where'd you go? Were you whispering? You were whispering.
I was whispering. I don't know. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
The internet is not our friend. But
it's the you're down in the bunker, in the Jericho bunker.
I am.
Right.
I have a fairly strong signal down here. I don't know what's going on, but
I think it's fine. Given the fact that here we are, like we're able to just like hit a button on our computers and have a conversation and then throw that conversation out on the internet.
I know, it's a crazy time we live in.
Yeah, it sure is. That's definitely, that's an understatement. I thank you so much, Margo. This was somewhat unplanned.
I know, but for the moment, but
I like that. I want to, I don't have the information available, right?
It's okay.
Okay.
You want me to Google it really fast?
Yeah. Can you read it this time? Because I can't Google and talk at the same time because I'm not that highly evolved. There are a bunch of folks that we would love to thank. I want to thank everybody who has stuck with us through this rather unpredictable episode scheduling, because I know that if there's anything that I hate more than not being organized is expecting something and then it doesn't happen. So I know that Margo and I had some technical challenges in the beginning, but here we are, we're up and running. So thanks for sticking out with us, you guys. And I want to thank the Polarity Foundation and for their generous donation that has made this podcast possible. And Margo, you've got some info for us.
I want to thank the awesome women of Doggy Styles Pet Grooming at 925 Roosevelt Highway in Colchester, Vermont. And you can reach them, you can call them or text them at 802-654-7387. Thank you.
Thanks, Margo. So everybody take care out there. I think by the time this episode uploads, we will finally have somebody in the White House who has their act together. And until then, please be careful. Please be safe. Please wear a mask, and we will talk to you soon. Take care, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.